Forever is a concept that we as humans can never really fully grasp. It both fascinates us and terrifies us, and has led some to be scared of the flow of time itself. An infinite amount of time is so hard to imagine, and makes many stress over what they'll never get to experience in their own tiny slice of forever, and leads many to turn to the occult for answers, whether it be mainstream or not so much. Infinity, both mathematically and existentially, is a struggle because you can't really properly visualize an infinite amount of something. No matter how big or how complex you think, you'll never really reach the reality or the end of such a concept. However, there are at the very least artistic interpretations such as the Mobius strip or fractals. Bloons TD is a game where I don't need to explain what Bloons is. There is actually a sizable selection of towers that do infinite amounts of damage in a literal sense, and today I want to talk about that. Most of them are towers and tower abilities, but some are heroes. Monkeys that do infinite damage either one-shot Bloons regardless of HP, layer skip regardless of HP, or do damage in percentages instead of set numbers. The towers that one-shot are Monkey Buccaneer and the preceding upgrades, as they can simply hook in any mob that they can regardless of HP. Psy similarly will stun and shake any Bloons under a BAD and pop them to nothing no matter the scaling. And Triple X Trap, technically speaking, can one-shot one Blimp under a BAD despite its capacity technically being 10k HP. It will one-shot the first Blimp that it runs into regardless of its health. Shockingly, I'm pretty sure that's actually it. No other towers or heroes as of this version do a full-blown one-shot no matter what, as far as I know. An honorable mention, however, can go to the Megalodon for being one of the few that actually does one-shot BADs at some stages of the game, despite having an RB limit eventually making it unable to one-shot anything. Percentage-based damage isn't always quite as strong as killing something in one shot, but constantly doing 10% of a mob's health on attack no matter what, for example, is pretty powerful. Percentage-based damage isn't super common, but, for example, it is found in Easy's level 10 ability Moab Hex. At level 10 it does 4% damage per tick, and 5% at level 20. Notably, this also has the upside of not producing children if you successfully pop the Moab after it goes through the Hex. Another tower that's capable of this is Ninja's Grandsavitur, a tower that upon ability use for the next 30 seconds causes Bloons to spawn with 25% less health. This is also a pretty good way to farm for Paragon levels, actually. Unstaple Concoction is an honorable mention because when their target explodes, they do 10% of their health in explosive damage, which is pretty much in the spirit of doing such things. Towers that layer skip are a bit more niche because layer skipping isn't a common mechanic, but these towers are Shattering Shells and Bloonmaster Alchemist. Shattering Shells removes fortifications, and by doing so can remove literal millions of HP in one go. It's a very basic functionality, and I can appreciate that. And Bloonmaster Alchemist is pretty infamous already for simply turning everything under a BAD into a red balloon. I say infamous because unless you're going late game, this kinda sucks actually, because you're losing so much money, especially on harder maps where the save up is pretty brutal still. And unlike the last, there is actually a hero in this one. Benjamin skips layers when he, for one, uses a Trojan on Bloons to make them not spawn children, and his level 10 makes all incoming Bloons spawn a layer smaller than they usually would be. And this one doesn't really have any honorable mentions, but I do have a miss category, however. The Misk infinite damage dealers are Bomb Blitz, as they do one-shot but only up to a BFB. ZMGs and above just kinda take a lot of damage, which is, it's okay, but it's not really the same as everyone else. And the Legend of the Night spawns a portal that can swallow up as much HP that goes in, but isn't really controllable or a practical exit guard, as the cooldown is so long. By the time you could spawn another portal, you've honestly probably just leaked to the next round, because if you're leaking now, you're probably gonna, continue having that kind of problem. And while the miss category is pretty short, I do find it mildly interesting how they're both dependent on you leaking lives first. And those are the only towers, I'm pretty sure at least, that do infinite amounts of damage. If there's any I missed, go scold me in the comments and I'll definitely read them. I mean, I'm not gonna remake the video or anything, but I'll definitely acknowledge it. Admittedly, there isn't a huge reason to be making a video like this. I just thought it'd be cool to look at towers that tactically do an infinite amount of damage. That's a cool concept. Although I do find it kind of interesting how half these towers aren't even really particularly meta or anything. In fact, some of them are actually pretty bad, like Bloonmaster Alchemist is kind of something you do not want on most games, and I mean, I see plenty of people use Recursive Cluster, but I've never really seen anyone say specifically that they really want to use Bomb Blitz. But that said, I think that's just about it for me. If you actually liked the video, well, I mean, you can go like it, physically, you can go click on the button. That's exactly how that works. And if you want to see, I don't know, I'm probably not going to do that many, just stat videos from now on, because it's never really been my thing to begin with. But if you want to see other things, like, I don't know, animation, jokey videos, you know, skits even, you know, subscribe. Or maybe you can even go look at my Ghost Town of a Discord, be the one that revives chat. Go on, do it, do it, do it, do it. But with that said, I am going to bed. Good night.